What's up, Dan the Man fans, and welcome back to the channel for the July 2025 Metacast. That's right, we're just 6 short weeks away from the World Championships in Anaheim, California, and now with NAIC firmly in the past, lots of major tournaments being wrapped up and League Cups and Challenges beginning for the 2026 season, it's time to have a look at what decks to play this month. This video isn't just a tier list, this is your competitive roadmap to Worlds testing if you are lucky enough to be heading out to the World Championships. Or maybe you want to use this list to help you grind some cups and keep pace with the meta curve as we roll through the Destined Rivals format. I've been testing, I've been tracking, and I've been deep diving with lots and lots of decks, looking at Limitless results, and obviously looking at the meta that was defined by NAIC 2025. And as always, a massive thank you to everyone who supported the channel, shared their thoughts in the comments, and helped make this one of the most analytical TCG communities on YouTube. Alright, there's enough from me. Let's break down the top 10 decks for July 2025 based on real tournament results and current meta trends. Let's start at number 10. Right, in at number 10 we have got this very annoying deck, the Iron Thorns EX with Crustle, also known as Voltage Walks. That's right, if you come to face this deck you will be screaming if you play lots of Pokemon with rule boxes that have abilities. Let's talk about the strategy. Iron Thorns EX has a passive ability that shuts off rule box Pokemon. As we know, it won the World Championships controversially last year, and you will lose abilities like the ones that are on Fezandipiti and Pidgeot. And no surprise, if you play Noctowl as well, you will also lose that ability with the Stadium Team Rocket's Watchtower. Then there is Crustle, much like Mimikyu, that has that mysterious rock-in ability which prevents all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your Pokemon EX. And then there is also Superb Scissors. This attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, so you can get through those Wallmon quite easily. A nice addition to this deck. This deck isn't all about dodging, though. It's really strong against many other decks like Raging Bolt, Dragapult, and Joltik box. This thing grinds. You outlast everything and eventually take the win through disruption, through stall, and pure tank values. Hear how it works. You run the Stadium Practice Studio. That's right, this deck takes things like Charizard and Gardevoir down. Then usually you play the healing cards again to get the damage off that you have kind of built up over a few turns, and then this deck also is very meta dependent, and that's why it's in at number 10. Let's be honest, it's not fun for your opponent to play against this deck, but it is legitimately strong, and cups and challenges, people playing against you in these tournaments will be rage quitting and pulling out their hair. It did very well in the Late Night 241, which was on recently, and did very well also in other online tournaments. Is it a Worlds pick? Probably not, but it is a nightmare to play against at your locals. So if you want to grind through maybe a 12 player plus cup to get to top 4 and then get to the final, this could be the deck for you. Okay guys, without further ado, let's go and see what's in at number 9. Right, in at number 9 we have this spicy hybrid. That's right, with this, we call it the N-Zoro-Pult deck or something along those lines. A deck that's flying under the radar, but it really shouldn't be. So what's going on here? You're combining the pressure of Dragapult EX with the flexibility of N's Zoroark and its ability to copy attacks from bench Pokemon. The standout here is Reshiram, which hits 170 and burns the opponent. You're using Zoroark to copy that attack and slam into cards like Gardevoir, which have Darkness Weakness, Dragapult, and even Archaludon. That typing advantage is so good into the stage 2 that are all over the format. What I love about this deck is the fact that it draws like crazy. Not only can you draw with Dragapult, but you can also draw with Zoroark as well, combining it with the Mew engine as well and Dragapult. That's right, you can draw cards like they are going out of fashion. You are pretty much Iono proof. Now, for its weaknesses, this deck really struggles into Raging Bolt and Joltik Box because their prize pressure is just too fast. You're not tanky enough to survive that tempo, and while Zoroark can technically copy big attacks, it doesn't always have the time or the resource to hit back. Tournament-wise, this deck did well at NAIC, piloted by Stefan Ivanov, and there's been a lot of chatter about bringing it back to Worlds. If you expect a heavy stage 2 meta and you like road hybrids and with a smooth draw engine, this could definitely be your pick for Worlds or even for those cups and challenges. Okay guys, let's check out number 8. So in at number 8, we have got Gholdengo. Oh my gosh, yes, you've guessed it, with Dragapult. Why don't we just open our binder and choose something that goes with Dragapult? So let's have a look. This deck does one thing, and that is spread early and nuke late. You start with Dragapult EX using Phantom Dive to place 60 damage counters across the board. You soften up everything, especially those little evolving basics, and then Gholdengo EX swings in with Make It Rain for 50 times the amount of energy you discard. Your endgame is just blowing up everything your opponent tries to set up. What makes this deck tick is the Dragapult evolution line. With Dracalope in play, you get an extra 2 cards drawn, and then 1 goes on the bottom of your deck. And obviously with Gholdengo as well, you get to draw even more cards to find the cards that you need. And now with Neo Upper Energy, you've got instant activation with Dragapult and Gholdengo. You don't even need Sparkling Crystal, you just drop it and go. Now, here's the catch. This deck folds to Item Lock and Hand Disruption. If your Cypher Maniac doesn't hit, or you open with any energy acceleration, this can be quite clunky. It's also not great into Grimmsnarl or Flareon, which can tank or snipe key attackers before you set up. But it wrecks Guardy, beats Pulp Mirrors, and has a real top 8 potential when played well. If you're someone like me who likes decks that scale into the late game with a payoff nuke turn, Gholdengo Pult is still a solid choice, especially for locals or as a secondary deck in testing. Right, enough about this deck, let's see what goes in at number 7. Okay. In at number 7, we've got one of my favourite decks still, and that is Joltik Box. You know it, you hate it. You've probably lost to it. Joltik Box comes in at number 7, and it's still just as fast and aggressive as Emma. The entire strategy revolves around Joltik Charge, a turn 1 attack that lets you search for 2 lightning and 2 grass energy and attach them in any way that you like. That fuels Iron Hands EX and says thank you or amp you very much with a double prize if you manage to take out something quite small. Or if they've been silly enough to play Squawkabilly EX, you could even take 3 prizes. That's right. And then you could also charge Pikachu EX as well that hits for 300 damage. That's right. And you could even hit for 310 when Gravity Mountain is in play. Let's be real. This deck has the potential to win the game on turn 2. You boss up something like Squawkabilly, hit with Iron Hands, and you're 3 prizes ahead before your opponent can even set up. What's holding you back? Well, and I've lost to it many times, Raging Bolt is the problem. Baby Bolt snipes Joltik, and Fast Pressure just puts it at a disadvantage. And Guardy, if they hit Shaman early, completely shuts off your Pikachu and Clefairy plays by blocking bench damage. Still, Joltik Box is one of the best tempo decks in the format. It wins fast, but it can also lose fast. But in a cup or challenge setting, it can make the difference, especially if you're playing a best of 1 or you want to end quickly with a best of 3 and not have a draw. Let's have a look at some techs that you also might want to think about including. Vitality Band can hit, obviously can make Pikachu hit 310 damage. Iron Leaves EX can still really help this deck, especially if you slap it down, make it go into the active spot and get all the energy off other cards onto it. Defiance Band could also be good to, obviously, if you fall behind early, to stop some extra damage. This deck is not for the faint of heart, and if you love speed and explosive plays, you'll enjoy this fantastic deck. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what's in at numero 6. Right then, guys, in at number 6, we've got Flareon Eevee Box, or as I like to call it, the Elemental Toolbox. Flareon Box, or simply Eevee Box, or Elemental Toolbox, returns to the mid-table after a surge of top 16 finishes at NAIC and a handful of cup wins in the UK and Germany. The secret? Metagame flexibility. Let's have a look. Sylveon EX, your turn 1 consists of Anchor, Fairy Harmony, fetches 2 evolutions to set up the board. Flareon EX, the primary closer, Ignite to accelerate, Blaze Chomp for a clean 280 damage, or even 310 with Vitality Band / Pump Kaboo. Leafeon EX, single prize monster, one-shots Grimmsnarl and Charizard, heals 100 damage from each of the bench Pokemon, and blanket spreads from Dragapult Frostless. You could also include Umbreon EX for a gust on legs, Dark typing for Pulp Mirrors, Tech Line 2 flexi slots. You could put Vaporeon EX in there if you wanted to. You could put Espeon, or you could even put Jolteon in there for speed versus Joltik Box. There are lots of things you can do. On the deck list here that I've got in front of you, I'm showing you the Leafeon build with Flareon EX, and obviously you've got the Noctowl line there to search for things that you need. The Flareon list, obviously, that you can see here, split 60-40 between Noctowl Search, and you've also got a Pidgeot EX in there if you also want to add some extra consistency as well. The July trend teams more towards a 2 Pidgeot Noctowl line with Watchtowers down, obviously removing some of those abilities from your other opponents as well. Positive matchups: Raging Bolt, Leafy, Heal, Loop, or you've got the Gholdengo Pult, Umbreon Gust, and then obviously hit for 280, and then you've got a Joltik type advantage as well. Even Guardy, if you hit back with Gravity Mountain and use something like the Flareon, you could obviously be hitting for 280 damage to take down those pesky Gardevoirs. Tough. Grimmsnarl is tough against it, although if you are playing the Leafeon build, you will obviously have a much better time. But also watch out for Iron Thorns Crustle as well, as they build up quite a wall. How did it do in the tournament? NAIC Day 2 conversions was 55%, which was pretty good, and in late night it saw some top 4 finishes with an extra 60 above second place there. If you're a player who loves matchups, or loves a matchup roulette, or loves different typings and loves to have all sorts of different energy on the board, this is definitely the deck for you. Without further ado, let's see what's in at number 5. Okay, it had to appear somewhere on this list. In at number 5 is Raging Bolt EX, or as I like to call it, Turbo Teal. Fast, aggressive, relentless, Raging Bolt remains the definitive tempo turbo deck for cups and sits solidly in the mid spot. At NAIC, there was lots of top 16 results, winner of a 200 player cup in Madrid, and 57% win rate across 3 online events. Let's have a look at the game plan. Tilmask Ogerpon, turn 1, draw. If you get a Grass Energy, attach it with Till Dance, you get to draw more. Then you use Professor Sarda's Vitality on turn 2 to double attach from the deck to your Dragon Pokemon. You then swing with Baby Bolt for cheap snipes, then obviously promote Raging Bolt EX to delete anything with 320 HP or less. July list tweaks, let's have a look. Blood Moon Ursalana is a nice little end game there to put in there. A 4th Tilmask could be really good for even more energy acceleration, and 1 energy retrieval or a power pad, since Watchtower counts have dropped. You could obviously put that back in there to get some Sardas back into your deck, or even better, get some energy back into your hand. Let's have a look at some different matchups and let's see what it does against. Grimmsnarl EX does well against because of its typing. Joltik Box, I mean, obviously, it's just folds against Joltik Box. You have got pretty much a 90% win ratio on this. Dragapult Charizard depends on the stamp timing. Dragapult Dusknoir gets walled by Curse Math, and Iron Thorns obviously does well against the things that are obviously of a dark typing. If you want the shortest round times and love rolling the dice on early aggression, Bolt is still your best friend. Just tech wisely for the stage 2 matchups. Make sure you've always got that energy to hand and you're playing your Sarda's Vitalities when you need to, and you could potentially win quite a few cups with this deck. Okay, what's in at number 4? Let's take a look. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, in at number 4 we've got Dragapult Charizard, or in my case, the Spread and Burn deck. Right, 4th place, here we go. So NAIC had a few of these Dragapult Charizard hybrids. The Rowan Slave Now / Jackson Ford 60, that's becoming a copy and paste job for the July Cups, is on your screen right now. Why does this combo work? Let's have a look. Dragapult EX obviously gets going quickly. Phantom Dive, 200 plus 60 bench snipe, can obviously soften up lots of other Pokemon. Charizard EX closes with Infernal Rain accelerating, and then Burning Darkness scales 180 plus 30 per prize. You could potentially do 390 with some damage mods. Obviously, this is a good deck. It's been used many times before, and it is completely up to you the way you want to play it. You could start with Dragapult, you could go in aggressive and go in heavy with Charizard. Obviously, with 4 Iono, 2 Judge, and Unfair Stamp, you have got 9 hand resets there, and when you're ahead, you could obviously chain these to obviously really disrupt your opponent's hand. Other techs you could add, you could put a Cleffa in there to obviously add to your draw. You could even use some other cards in there to help stall. A 3rd TM evolution could be good against other cards if you want to, if you're worried about coming up against some Badoos that might slow you down, and a Defiance Band over Vitality Band to help you reach those 320s in the early matchups could be good as well. Matchups it does well against Gardy, obviously with the typing. It does well against Gholdengo, Flareon Box. It can also do well against Bolt, Grimmsnarl and Frostless sequencing, and also can do well against Iron Thorns, but go more towards the Dragapult than the Charizard matchup, because obviously you won't be able to play that energy acceleration. A fantastic deck overall, and if you pilot this you will be rewarded for your perfect sequencing and prize mapping. If you want spread pressure with a built-in nuke button, this is definitely your list, and a potential top 8 at Worlds could await you if you have gained enough championship points. Okay guys, we're here, top 3. Let's see what's in at number 3. Okay guys, in at number 3, we've got Grimmsnarl Frostlass, or as I like to call it, Dark Control. Let's have a look. The core loop, Frostless, obviously does damage between turns. That's right, when you're in that between turns phase and you have an ability, Frostless will be dropping a damage counter on you. You've got Grimmsnarl EX. Once activated, you get to attach 5 darkness from your discard pile, and then if you use the Ace Spec card secret box, you can really quickly get those energy in the bin. You've also got the Monkey Dory with Adrenaline to remove any damage that you've taken from Frostlass with your Pokemon abilities. Why has it jumped up to number 3? Obviously, the Darkness tech and the Guardy matchup is brilliant. You can very quickly take down Gardevoir thanks to its weakness typing. It does well against Raging Bulk and Joltik Box. It can't handle the fact that the Frostlasses there are putting on damage in between turns, and the fact that you're smacking big damage as well, and you're obviously able to take out little Pokemon with a Monkey Dory from removing the damage. In terms of cup data, it's done really well. You can go up against a lot of cards on decks and beat people in cups and challenges. Decisions you need to make though: do you want 2 Artisan, do you want 2 Spike Mouth, depends, or do you want some more Buddy Poffins? Blood Moon Ursalana is another little one-off you could put in there as well to do well potentially in the late game, and maybe a TM evolution might not go astray if you want to quickly evolve your Morgrems or Impidimps into a Grimmsnarl. But matchup wise, Dragapult, it does really well against. It does well against Guardy, particularly if they are falling behind. It's just got so many good plays. If you enjoy a kind of chess over checkers game and like punishing sloppy sequencing, Grimmsnarl EX is a real World's sleeper pick, and it did incredibly well at NAIC, and I'm very excited to see how it does at Worlds and what other online data we get from this deck later this month. This is definitely the best deck to come out of Destined Rivals. Okay, number 2. here we go. You've probably guessed it's going to be one or two decks. Let me show you what my pick for July 2025 number 2 is. Okay. In at number 2, we've got Dragapult Dusknoir, or Curse Control as I like to call it. Running up, status goes to Dragapult Dusknoir, still the highest converting deck across the Late Night, Smart Series and NAIC, combined with 63% day 2 or later into tournament conversion. How it wins: Phantom Dive spreads, Curse Blast blows up and puts 13 damage counters on a Pokemon. Neo Upper Energy is there to quickly give your Dragapult time to use Phantom Dive, and obviously a second Pulse Sweep will clean the board. Let's have a look at the July upgrades. We've got 4 Research, 2 Iono, and we've got quite a few counter catches in there to really scoop up those kind of supporter 2 prize Pokemon. We've got a 2/2 Dusknoir line there to obviously blow up and give us a couple of prizes, and the Neo Upper Energy as our ace spec is just broken. Some pilots trialed Secret Box ace spec over Neo Upper Energy. My choice is the Neo Upper Energy. The fact that you can't search for it, but the fact that if you do draw into it, you can attach it and boom, you are good to go. Matchups that it does well against: Guardy, delete those Curlier early on in the process. It does well against Bulk because obviously you can use your Dusknoir to add some damage and then boom, get them with Phantom Dive. It does well against Flareon, Grimmsnarl. It can do well against Iron Thorns because you're not really stopping. The only abilities you're stopping are like Ursalana and obviously Pheasantipede there. But do watch out for matchups like Todescruel and obviously the Watchtower Archaludon, that they can do very badly against this deck. Expect this archetype to remain top table until a true counter emerges. If you can master Curse Blast timings and obviously look at the prize matchups, you will do very well into this deck. Right guys, in at number 1, you've guessed it, it won NAIC. Our number 1 pick is for July 2025. That's right guys, you've guessed it, it's Gardevoir EX, or the Turbo Energize for Monkey. No surprises, Gardevoir EX stays Queen of the Hill after winning NAIC and taking back-to-back online titles. Why does it still rule? Psychic Embrace is still the best ability in standard format. That energy acceleration is broken. When Monkey Dory then came out, oh my goodness, you can actually put damage on your Pokemon from attaching those energies and then just remove them with Monkey Dory and put them onto your opponent's side of the board. Adrenabane just makes this deck busted, and with other cards in that deck like the rare candies to help you get those Gardevoir set up, you've got the Secret Box to discard the energy and search for all 4 types of trainer. This deck is just busted. We've also got Turbo Energize in there as well to get some more energy on the board if you need that very, very quickly in the early game. It does well against Bolt because it just outlasts it. It does okay against Pult Charizard, although beware of the typing. It does well against Flareon Toolbox, and there are many, many other decks it does well against. Realistically, Guardy simply has the widest collection of 55 to 45 cards in there. No deck cleanly sweeps it, and its ceiling is enormous. If you want the safest and most reliable deck in the format, Gardevoir is the way forward. That is why it has got my number 1 spot for July 2025 and will definitely help you clean up at those early challenges and cups if you want to get your points on the 2026 season nice and early. Okay guys, let's wrap this up then. So guys, do you think my top 10 is correct? Let me know in the comments. I've looked at so much data guys, and I really, really hope you think that my lists are worth looking at. Every list on this countdown has had day 2 recipients. It's done well at cups or trophies, and it's also done very well at online tournaments as well. Your job is to pick 1 or 2 and hammer those matchups, practice, test against mirrors, test against your friends, find a little testing group, go to your locals and try out these decks. Obviously, we've got that double black and white set coming out later this month, but that won't become legal until the end of July. So please take a look at these sets and these decks and let me know which one you think. Which one are you going to be sleeving up? I'm so hyped to know. Which one do you think is the spiciest road deck, and how are you teching for the Gardevoir and the Dragapult matchups? As always, guys, thank you so much. If this Metacast has saved you time, drop me a like, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss another one of my Metacast videos. As always, thank you for an amazing year of support, and remember, may your opening hands always be playable and make your Neo upper energy never be prized. Guys, I will see you again in the next Metacast video right before Worlds, and I look forward to talking to you all and hearing your comments. Guys, as always, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. All the best.